Hey, let's learn a couple tricks about the Fuji X-T2. One of these is wrong in the user's manual. In the user manual to tell you, because if you want to format the dual cards in your Fuji X-T2, you need to go over to Settings, User Settings, then Format, then do one, and once you format one, then you have to repeat it all over again. Now, the user's manual tells you to hit the trash button and then click in on the rear command dial, but that's incorrect. What you have to do is hold down first on the trash button for a couple seconds, and then press in on the rear command dial, and then you could format your cards. Okay? So that's a mistake in the user's manual. Now, something else important. Like right now, I'm an aperture priority, okay? Now, with a lens like this, I don't have an aperture to adjust. You obviously adjust the aperture via your front command dial, but one of the neat tricks on the Fuji X-T2 is when you have this set to C, you normally have 3 stops above or 3 stops below of exposure compensation. When you set this to C, what that lets you do is use the front command dial to actually adjust your exposure compensation by plus or minus 5 stops. But since that function on a lens like this, which has no aperture ring, is already being used to adjust the aperture, as you can see down here, my aperture is being adjusted, how do I actually do that with a lens like this? And the answer is that you just actually press in to switch back and forth. Now, as you can see over here, I can do plus or minus 5 EV here, and to switch back to aperture control, I just press in once again on my front command dial to go back to using the front command dial to adjust my aperture when in aperture priority. Okay? So that is the neat trick there, especially on formatting. You know, going through the rigmarole of formatting, going menu, over, settings, user settings, format, no. Okay? Hold in your trash button for a couple seconds, hit the rear command dial, and there you can adjust your two SD cards. Okay? Thanks for watching. This is another tutorial on the Fuji X-T2. Learning all its little tips and tricks to save you time, to save you any frustration. Even though the Fuji X-T2 is a good bit more complicated than the X-T1, its actual function layout is really very simple in its menu settings. Something I do suggest that you do is in RAW recording, shooting lossless compressed instead of uncompressed. It's going to save you a lot of space, and it's also going to cut down on the buffering if you're doing continuous high or low bursts. It's going to cut down on that buffering, and it's going to keep down the slowdown that you got if you're just ripping them off really fast and pressing the camera to the max. Okay. Now, another important thing is that the electronic viewfinder on the Fuji X-T2 is 2 times brighter than that of the X-T1. And also, what you get with the X-T2 is that you have with boost mode with the vertical grip a maximum of 11 frames per second on the mechanical, but on the electronic you have a max of 14 frames per second. And also, without the vertical grip, just the camera alone, what you could do is you can actually place the camera into boost mode under power management, or you can assign it to one of the buttons out here, or to your quick menu button, and go into boost performance mode, and that will cause you to actually drop from 60 frames per second refresh to 100 frames per second, so the EVF blackout will be basically nothing, and that's really nice. Okay, thanks for watching, and more tutorials and tips on the X-T2 to come. Okay, bye.